Hey everyone, welcome back to English Tonight. I've got a challenge for you today, and it's right there in the title. If you can understand this video, you are fluent in English. Now wait, don't click away. I'm not going to be speaking in some secret, hyper-advanced code. This isn't a test, it's a realization. Because fluency isn't about knowing every single word in the dictionary. It's not about having perfect grammar that would make a 19th century novelist proud. Fluency is about flow. It's about connection. It's about listening to the natural, messy, beautiful rhythm of a language and following it, even when you miss a beat. So this video, this is that. This is me, talking to you, in my normal, everyday, unscripted English. The same way I'd talk to a friend over coffee. I'm not going to slow down. I'm not going to use overly simple words. I'm going to talk like me. I'll use phrases and contractions. Gonna, wanna, gotta. I'll start sentences with so and I mean. I might even trail off or change my thought mid-sentence, because that's real speech. And if you can follow along, if the general meaning reaches you, even if a specific word flies by, that's the magic. That means your brain has stopped translating word for word and has started thinking in the flow of English. It means you're not just a student of the language anymore, you're becoming a participant in it. Think about it. When you're fluent in your native language, you don't understand 100% of every conversation. Someone might use a technical term you don't know, or reference a book you haven't read. But you don't panic. You don't shut down. You use the context. You catch the vibe. You stay in the flow. You are fluent in the process of understanding. That's what we're doing here today. We're moving the goalposts. Fluency isn't a distant, perfect shore you finally swim to. It's the water you're already swimming in. The moment you can relax into the current of a natural conversation and let it carry you, that's the moment you've arrived. So, let's just talk. Let's see how it feels. Ready? So, let's talk about something completely ordinary. Let's talk about my morning. Not a textbook morning, but a real one. I woke up today, and my brain was just foggy, you know? That heavy, slow-motion feeling. And my first thought was literally, already? Because my alarm was going off. And I am not a morning person. I will defend my right to be a night owl until my last sleepy breath. But anyway, I hit snooze. Of course I did. I think I hit snooze like 3 times. And every time, I had this little negotiation with myself. 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes of that delicious, warm nothingness. Finally, I dragged myself out of bed. And I mean dragged. I stumbled to the kitchen, absolutely parched, needing water like I'd crossed a desert. I didn't think, I am experiencing dehydration. I thought, man, I need some water. Simple. Direct. Then, I made coffee. The whole ritual of it, grinding the beans, the smell filling the kitchen, the impatient waiting for it to brew. I stared at the coffee maker like it was taking personally too long. And when it was ready, I didn't carefully pour a cup. I sloshed it in, took a sip, and went, ah. That's it. That's the whole review. Ah. Now, why am I telling you this boring story? Because I'm willing to bet you understood it. Not because you know the word parched or ritual, but because you felt it. You connected the dots. The feeling of hitting snooze, the desperate need for water in the morning, the sacred coffee routine. These are human experiences. And the words I used, even the messy ones, the ooghs and the ahs, they just painted a picture you already had inside you. That is fluency. It's the ability to take these shared human experiences, fogginess, impatience, relief, and map them onto a new set of sounds. It's understanding that dragged myself out of bed isn't about literal dragging. It's a feeling of extreme reluctance. It's knowing that hit snooze is a universal action that needs no further explanation. If you followed that, you weren't just understanding English words. You were understanding me. You were in the flow. Now let's get a tiny bit more nuanced. Let's say I describe my friend. I say, "Oh, she's great, but she can be a bit much sometimes. Super energetic, you know? Always on. A total morning person, which is just suspicious if you ask me." Did you catch the meaning? A bit much. Always on. Suspicious. I didn't say she was annoyingly overenthusiastic. I used casual, implied language. A textbook might not teach you that calling someone a bit much is a polite-ish way of saying they're overwhelming. But in the flow of conversation, you get it. You probably even smiled. That's another layer of fluency. It's getting the vibe, the subtext, the humor hiding between the words. It's the difference between decoding a language and dancing with it. So, let me ask you directly. Are you following this? Is this making sense? Not every single syllable, but the journey of the thought? If the answer is yes, then I have news for you. You are having a fluent experience. Your brain is doing the thing it's supposed to do. It's relaxing its grip on individual vocabulary lists and starting to surf the wave of natural speech. And this is just the beginning. This is what real English sounds like. In cafes, on phone calls, in stories friends tell. It's not clean. It's not perfect. It's full of detours and emotions and half-finished ideas, and you're understanding it right now. But let's push this a little further, into the heart of what it means to truly live inside a language. Let's talk about the moments you don't understand, not as failures, but as the most important sign that you're progressing. Because that's the real, unspoken test of fluency, isn't it? Imagine you're listening to me, and I say, "The entire product launch was a fiasco. Just an absolute kerfuffle from start to finish. We were fly by the seat of our pants. And by the end, let's just say the CEO wasn't a happy camper." Now, let's break this down like a fluent listener would. Maybe you know fiasco. Maybe kerfuffle sounds strange but funny. Fly by the seat of our pants? That's a vivid idiom meaning to improvise without a plan. A happy camper? A common phrase for a pleased, content person. But here's the crucial part. Even if two of these phrases were completely new to you, did you still understand the core narrative of what I said? The story of a project that went chaotically wrong? Of course you did. Your brain is a genius at this. It didn't treat the sentence as a series of locked doors, each needing a specific vocabulary key. It listened to the whole landscape. The tone of my voice, exasperated, maybe a little humorous. The context, product launch, CEO, the collective emotional charge of the words you did know, entire, absolute, from start to finish. All these clues created a powerful, unified meaning. This was a stressful, messy, embarrassing failure. Your brain didn't shut down at the unknown. It became a brilliant, context-seeking detective. It looked at all the evidence and solved the case. This detective work is the sophisticated, non-negotiable engine of true fluency. It's not about having a perfect preloaded dictionary. It's about being a master of inference, of pattern recognition, of emotional and contextual radar. This is how fluent speakers, native or otherwise, operate in the wild every single day. We are constantly encountering new slang, unfamiliar jargon, clever idioms, or names we've never heard. We don't stop the conversation. We don't freeze. We listen to the ecosystem of the sentence. The new, strange word is just one creature in a whole forest of meaning. We observe its habitat, the words around it, the speaker's face, the situation, and we understand its role. You might not learn the exact definition of kerfuffle until later, but in the moment, you learn something more valuable, that it belongs to the family of messy disaster words, and it probably has a slightly silly, informal tone to it. That's how language is actually acquired, not by memorizing definitions, but by absorbing words in their natural habitat, with all their emotional and social coloring. This is why I can say something like, I had to schlep my giant suitcase and 2 overstuffed bags all the way across town on the bus, only to find out the meeting was pushed back to next week. Talk about a wild goose chase. Schlep is that wonderful specific word for a laborious, annoying haul. Pushed back means postponed. Wild goose chase is a futile, pointless pursuit. If you didn't know 1 or 2 of these, did the story collapse? No. You felt the cumulative weight of the hassle, the frustration of the unnecessary effort. You filled in the conceptual blanks with a feeling you know deeply. What a waste of time and energy. This is the ultimate shift. Your fluency is no longer measured by the isolated words you can define on a test. It's measured by the conceptual blanks you can confidently, calmly fill in. It's your brain's ability to say, I don't recognize that specific tree, but I know I'm in a pine forest. I'm not lost. So, I want you to honestly ask yourself, when you listen to this video, what is your mind's posture? Is it hunched over, clutching each word like a precious, fragile item that might break if you misunderstand it? Or is it standing upright, looking at the whole horizon of the conversation, watching the patterns of meaning move like weather across a landscape? If it's the latter, if you're catching the gist, feeling the frustration of a wild goose chase, sensing the informal humor of a kerfuffle, then you are not just learning English. You are thinking in it. You are operating with the relaxed, adaptive skill of a fluent speaker. You have moved from being a code breaker, painstakingly translating symbols, to being a resident, walking the streets of the language and understanding the neighborhood. You are, in every way that matters, already inside. So, let's live inside it a little longer. Let's talk about a feeling everyone knows, but we all describe a little differently. I want to describe a feeling to you, and I want you to see if you can feel it through my words, even if they're not the simplest words. I woke up the other day with this real sense of foreboding. It's a weighty word, isn't it? Foreboding. It's not just being sad or worried. It's a quieter, deeper, more ancient feeling. It's the sense that something, somewhere, is off. A dread that hasn't taken shape yet. Just this heavy, gray feeling in my chest, sitting there like a cold stone, for no particular reason. The sky outside was overcast, a perfect, dull mirror to my mood. Not stormy, not dramatic. Just a blanket of gray, muting all the colors. And with that came this restlessness. But it was a tired restlessness. A paradoxical energy that made me want to move, but robbed me of all direction. I felt completely devoid of motivation. Devoid of? It means empty of, completely lacking. My motivation wasn't low. It was absent, gone. You know that feeling? Where your to-do list exists, and you see it, but it feels like it's written in a language you've forgotten? The idea of starting even the smallest task felt like trying to climb a mountain while wearing lead boots. My brain was spinning, but my body was anchored. I was, as we say, stuck in a rut, trapped in the same mental groove, going nowhere. I knew I couldn't stay there. I had to get out of my own head. That's a great phrase. It means to escape your own cyclical thoughts, to break the pattern of your own thinking. So I did the simplest thing. I went for a long walk. No phone, no podcast, no agenda. Just me, the uneven pavement, and the sound of my own footsteps. a rhythm I couldn't argue with. And after a while, something almost imperceptible began to shift. The foreboding didn't shatter. It didn't vanish with a bang. It just lost its grip. It was more like a fog gradually dissipating, thinning out, fading, becoming less dense. You look up and realize you can see the shapes of trees again, then the branches, then the leaves. As the internal noise faded, my senses woke up. I started noticing with a strange, sharp clarity. The dappled light finding its way through the canopy of leaves, painting shifting patterns on the path. The rich, petrichor smell of wet earth from a rain shower I'd missed. The cool, clean air filling my lungs. I hadn't solved any problems. I hadn't had a grand revelation, but I felt a quiet, steady sense of contentment. Not the fireworks of happiness, but the gentle, glowing embers of being okay. I had, as we say, shaken off the funk. The gloomy mood was gone. Now, be brutally honest with yourself. As you listened to that, where was your mind? You might not use the word foreboding in your daily life. Devoid of might be a structure you comprehend but wouldn't instinctively produce. Stuck in a rut. Get out of my own head. Gradually dissipating. Dappled light. Shaken off the funk. These are the textures of natural speech. They are collocations, idioms, and descriptive phrases that don't just state information. They build a world. But I am willing to bet you followed the emotional arc. Not just the dictionary definitions, but the journey. From a vague, heavy gloom, through paralyzing stagnation, to a deliberate physical action, and finally, to a calm, sensory awakening and peace. You didn't need a direct translation for every single phrase. You understood the story of the mood because you have lived a version of that story in the language of your own life. The English words were simply the conduit, the specific frequency we tuned into to share a universal human experience. This, right here, is the final, beautiful, and profound layer of fluency. It's empathy transmitted across a language barrier. It's the conclusive evidence that English has stopped being a wall of complex code separating you from meaning. It has become a bridge, and the most telling sign? You're not anxiously figuring out how to cross it anymore. You're already on the other side, walking alongside me, nodding because the view from here is familiar. When you can listen to a personal, textured, emotional narrative in English and find the contours of your own inner life reflected in it. When you nod not because you perfectly decoded every symbol, but because you felt the truth of it in your gut. That's your definitive proof. You're not just fluent in grammar or vocabulary. You are fluent in the shared human soul that the language carries. You are fluent in understanding. You understood me. Not just my words, but my mood, my recovery, my quiet moment of peace. And in doing that, you demonstrated the ultimate truth. English is no longer a foreign entity you study. It is a living, breathing tool for human connection. And you are no longer a student holding the manual. You are a person, confidently wielding it. So, let's return to the bold statement that started this whole conversation. If you understand this video, you are fluent in English. After this journey, through the foggy mornings, the project fiascos, the quiet walks that shake off the funk, I hope you see that statement not as a test you might have failed, but as a mirror showing you what you've already achieved. Fluency was never the mountain in the distance. It was the ground you've been standing on all along. It was the ability to follow a story, to catch a vibe, to feel a feeling through the medium of English sounds. This whole video was an experiment. It was me, talking to you, in my genuine, unfiltered voice, with all its contractions, its idioms, its rhythms, and its detours. There was no script, just a train of thought, and you followed it. That following, that act of staying connected to the meaning as it flowed and weaved, that is the skill. That is the fluent skill. You have not just been listening to English, you have been thinking alongside it. So, where do you go from here? You change the goal. Stop chasing fluency as if it's a diploma you get at the end. Start recognizing it as the mode you're already in when you successfully connect. Your new metric for progress is no longer, how many words do I know? It's, can I follow the gist of a natural conversation? Do I catch the emotion behind the words? Can I listen to someone's story and understand not just the events, but the human experience within them? If the answer to those questions is yes, as it has been throughout this video, then you are operating in a state of fluency. You are in the flow. This is your invitation to own it, to step out of the eternal student mindset and into the confident communicator identity. You have the core skill. Now it's about living in it, practicing it, and trusting it. Your call to action. Acknowledge your win. In the comments, I want you to finish this sentence. Today, I understood. And tell me one idea, one feeling, or one story point from this video that resonated with you. Don't overthink it. Just prove to yourself that you were here, in the flow, understanding. Demand this reality. If this is the kind of English you need, real, unscripted, meaningful, let me know. This is the content that truly builds the muscle of comprehension. Tell me what topics you want me to just talk about next. Stay in the flow. If you want more journeys like this, more conversations that challenge and affirm your fluency, subscribe to English Tonight. We don't just study the language here, we live in it, we connect through it, and we build the unshakable confidence that comes from realizing you already know how to swim. Thank you for your courage, for your trust, and for your incredible ability to understand. You did it. You understood this video, and that means you are fluent. I'll see you in the comments and in the next conversation. Bye for now.